Hello guys, this is Paul K from PhoneArena, and today we're taking a look at the Alcatel OneTouch Hero 2. Alcatel launched this mid-range phablet a couple of months ago, and it aims to attract users' attention with a large 6-inch screen, a 13.1 megapixel camera with optical image stabilization, a powerful octa-core MediaTek CPU, and a stylus which has some handwriting capabilities. This all sounds good on paper, but does it actually deliver? Let's find out. With a 6-inch screen, there is no going around the fact that the OneTouch Hero 2 is a large device. Still, Alcatel managed to keep its screen-to-body ratio high, which makes it manageable with one hand. The back is made of a grippy plastic, which is also curved in a way which fits naturally in the hand. Unfortunately, it attracts fingerprints and smudges and will rarely look clean. Alcatel wanted to give the OneTouch Hero 2 a bit of a premium touch in its design, it seems, as it equipped the phone with an aluminum frame which runs along its sides and houses the speaker grill, card slots, headphone jack and stylus. Every part is carved in a way which fits the frame, and it's a nice design to look at. The phone feels sturdy and robust in the hands. Nothing creaks and cracks, and we feel like we're holding a strong device which can take some abuse and the normal everyday wear and tear. We found the power button to be in the perfect place, on the right side, exactly on the center of the device, as we always had a finger over it, ready to click it. Both it and the volume rocker feel clicky, though they are wobbly and shallow, which makes a strain at times. Alcatel also offers this little guy, which is a companion handset for the phablet. It's called the Sidekick 2, and you can connect it via Bluetooth and use it as a feature phone. As you can see, it keeps with the design language and looks sleek and modernistic. The gargantuan 6-inch screen glows at a 1080 by 920 pixel resolution, which gives it a 367 ppi density. It's nothing crazy by today's standards, but it still looks detailed and crisp. Color temperature measures at around 7100 K, and the reds in the display are a bit weak, which results in a generally cold display with a bluish tint. The contrast also appears a bit uncalibrated, as colors tend to look dull or washed out. The display's maximum brightness measures at 481 nits, and we had no trouble using it outdoors. Its minimum is 17 nits, which makes it uncomfortable for viewing in the dark. The first thing to strike us about the user interface is a performance which tends to stutter. The Alcatel OneTouch Hero 2 runs a heavily skinned version of Android 4.4 KitKat, and the lack of optimization is evident. There is no tiptoeing around the obvious. The OneTouch Hero 2 looks to be a direct competitor of the Samsung Galaxy Note line. Seeing the home screen transitions, up drawer and the handwriting to text functionality for the first time will definitely drive that message home. The phone's generic apps look rather simple, and we appreciate that. The dialer opens up an easily editable favorite contacts menu. The keypad can be shrunk so it's easier to dial with one hand, while the contacts app only allows you to look for a name via its dedicated search bar. We would have appreciated an alphabet bar on the right for quick navigation. The messaging app is a standard Android threaded message ordeal. We do appreciate the amount of choices we have for attachable content: pictures, videos, slideshows, contacts, calendar events. The only thing missing here is location sharing. The OneTouch Hero 2 comes with SwiftKey and Android AOSP keyboards, so unless you have a special keyboard preference, it should have you covered right out of the box. Alternatively, there's a handwriting to text function, though we found it to be hardly usable. Using the pen to write is a daunting task. First of all, the tracing line lags quite a bit and sometimes doesn't even register strokes when we are going too fast. Secondly, the phone doesn't turn off accidental touch input when the stylus is being used, so any contact between your fingers and the screen disrupts the writing experience. Adding to that, bad letter recognition further turned us off from using the function entirely. The Alcatel OneTouch Hero 2 is equipped with a true octa-core MediaTek MT6592 processor clocked at 2 GHz and paired with 2 GB of RAM. The stuttering user interface may lead some to believe that this hardware is an underperformer, but the truth is that once an app is loaded, it runs smoothly. Running games on low and medium graphic settings provides a relatively high FPS experience. We did notice, however, that the device tends to heat up a lot when under heavy usage, so we would suggest that the OneTouch Hero 2 is not the best choice for gamers out there. The phone's internal storage is 16GB, which can be expanded to 32GB via microSD card. The OneTouch Hero 2 has its own proprietary browser, which we actually liked. Browsing web pages with it gave us a pretty similar experience as the included Google Chrome did, generally smooth, albeit sometimes choppy. The big screen makes the experience that much more pleasurable, and the stylus can actually be used in this situation for clicking the smaller links. The phone is LTE capable and supports speeds of up to 150 megabits for downlink and 50 megabits for uplink. Of course, if you don't have LTE, fear not, it also supports HSPA+. The OneTouch Hero 2 also has an impressive Wi-Fi antenna, which was able to maintain a reliable signal at longer than usual distances. The camera is supposed to be one of the selling points of this phablet. A 13.1 megapixel sensor with LED flash and optical image stabilization. It offers HDR, panorama, wide-angle shot, burst mode, sports mode, and an elaborate manual mode. Snapping photos is a generally slow experience and gives us soft-looking pictures with somewhat high contrast. Shooting moving objects is no easy task for the sensor, and the sports mode did not appear to help at all. The HDR mode does manage to light up dark areas, however, instead of giving the scene a balanced exposure, it generally raises the brightness in all areas, leaving us wondering whether we want to use it at all. The camera's manual mode will impress photo enthusiasts out there with controls over exposure time, flash strength, and focus. As far as shooting video goes, the clips suffer from the same high contrast as the pictures, and the lack of continuous autofocus generally hurts the camera's recording functionality. The selfie cam of the OneTouch Hero 2 is a 5 megapixel snapper and does a good job at capturing your mug in detail. The camera app offers the now must-have beauty function and, of course, plenty of After Effects to choose from. The OneTouch Hero 2's call quality does not disappoint. Its earpiece is a bit on the quiet side, but still, voices come through detailed enough for us to understand what the other side is saying. And when we speak, the phablet's microphone delivers the same experience to the other party. Slightly quiet, but still detailed and understandable. The call quality with the Sidekick 2 was worse, as it was quieter, more muffled, and very digitized. Still, it was understandable, but we preferred not to use it for phone calls. Unfortunately, the battery's life is pretty low, especially for its 3100 mAh capacity. When ran through our benchmark test, the OneTouch Hero 2 only lasted 4 hours and 28 minutes. Using the phone in real life had us constantly double-checking the battery percentage and guessing whether it's going to last through the day. Any heavy usage, such as gaming or extensive browsing, would significantly lower the percentage, and we might end up having to recharge the phone by the 6th hour of usage. Compared to its predecessor, the Alcatel OneTouch Hero 2 does not seem to improve much. A massive drop in battery life was the thing we expected to see the least. Optical image stabilization for the camera is nice, but it doesn't really warrant an upgrade, and its CPU may be clocked at a higher speed, but the overheating and the easily drainable battery means that we won't be using that CPU all that much in the first place. If you insist on getting an affordable phablet with a 6-inch screen, then the OneTouch Hero 2 is a viable option. It has a high screen-to-body ratio and it is manageable with one hand. Its performance is not experience-breaking, but it's an unpleasant distraction. The camera is good for the phone's class and the display looks crisp, though it has dullish colors and unfavorable contrast. If you absolutely must have a phablet with a stylus, we recommend you hunt down a Samsung Galaxy Note 3 Neo, which should be easy to find at a lower than retail price these days. This concludes our review of the Alcatel OneTouch Hero 2. If you wish to read more information, please visit our website at www.phonearena.com. This has been Paul K. Have a nice day.